Hello, hello, and welcome back for a little more bone-breaking brutality and butchery in the perilous passages of Perfidious Manor as we prepare to play Darkest Dungeon. Although, if I'm being perfectly honest, I kind of have to admit that our last mission only proved perilous to our foes, since newly acquired Hellion Brienne of Tarth put on a breakout performance the likes of which hasn't been seen since, oh, I don't know, Clint Eastwood gave us The Man with No Name. I mean, it's been that long, folks. It was nothing less than astounding what Brienne did for us. It was a little like watching the weird neighbor kid of yours toss frogs into a blender, you know, that weird kid from next door. I mean, it was disturbing as hell, but the look of pure beatific joy on his face, I mean, it filled you with a little bit of dreadful certainty, and you knew, as you watched that kid, that you were watching someone do the thing they were put on this earth to do. And, you know, it shook you to your core. I mean, you were young and impressionable, and that shit has stuck with you throughout the years, and it haunts you still to this day. I mean, you know, doubly so because, like, 10 years later, you found out that kid eventually graduated from blendering frogs to murdering first-year nursing students, and then you sort of felt guilty about keeping quiet about the whole blender thing. But, you know, still, that's exactly how last episode felt. Like, Brienne is maybe on the verge of becoming something horrific, but she's so useful we can't afford to let her go, and it made us sort of uncomfortable to be utilizing her in that fashion. Yeah, that's exactly what we had. And I mean, if you doubt me, feel free to go watch Brienne Cut Loose last episode, because, you know, it's still there waiting for you. But in the meantime, I'm just going to do like you did with the kid with the blender thing and just kind of repress it and put her on another mission and see if maybe, you know, we can get her to do it again. So let's head down to the embarkation point and see what we've got on the plate for today. They really want us to take a shot at the wizened hag. And I really would like to, but we really don't have the team to do it. You know, Madeline, Halfcock Jack, Aaron Murphy. Maybe we do. Where's our other occultist? Oh, no, we're waiting on Doctor Strange. Okay, that's what we're waiting for. We're actually waiting for Doctor Strange to get done doing his drinking or whatever the shit it was he was doing. I don't actually recall. So let's hit the dungeon. I think we're just going to go with a repeat. We're going to use the exact same team we used last time. I mean, hell, they came out of our last mission with less stress than they had going in, so I don't see any reason to not go for the repeat. Deckard? Alright, Deckard has the right skills this time, so we've got that going for us at least. And in our third slot, we had old Dr. Moreau, who, you know what, before we do this, there's actually one thing we've got to do. If Dr. Moreau is going into the dungeon with us again, we're going to upgrade one of his skills. Actually, we're going to upgrade all of them. So we used Emboldening Vapors. We really like Battlefield Medicine. Plague Grenade is not that good. Can we afford to give him Blinding Gas? I mean, he already has Incision. You know what? Let's just dance with the one who brung us. So we're going to be very, very low on money after this. And by very, very low, I mean, shit, we are almost broke. We are a little like MC Hammer here, folks. We're going to have to say, please don't hurt us when the bank examiner comes to call him, because most of that cash we made is gone on to a better place. So we actually have a long mission. What are the rewards? Ooh, interesting. That's actually really good. And the $6,000 would not go awry. The problem, I don't think we can even buy, with the cash we have, I don't think we can even buy enough food to survive a long mission. So we're going to have to go actually for the short mission in the ruins. Even though I really don't want to, actually. I would prefer to do that long mission, but we're sort of stuck because we're kind of hurting for cash. So let's get to provisioning here, and we're going to go very bare bones on this one. We've got to kind of scrimp and save. So we're going to take 12 food, we're going to take 2 shovels, and 1 key, and we're going to go torchless, because at this point, I kind of can't afford torches, so we're going to have to make do. I don't necessarily like it, but that's just the way it's got to go. So down into the ruins, then. Probably could have spared a shovel for a couple torches, might have been a good idea, but what's done is done. We are in the shit now. So we have to explore 90% of rooms here. We can do a little loop-de-loop and then I think backtrack, and then we would have our option on the last room. So let's go. I think that's probably the right way to approach this. We're going to go down, over, all the way up, then we'll double back. And if we get a scouting on this room by some freak occurrence, we will then have our sort of our choice of which one is least onerous. This is not a good start. I mean, it's not really a problematic start, but it's moving one tile and finding a fight is a little unpleasant. Although I do like the fact that we started it off with a kill. That's nice. We should maybe switch out if it bleeds, since almost anything we're going to fight in this dungeon probably can't bleed. And Brienne continuing to, well, she's continuing to do that thing she do, which is murder everything she gets within reach of. Gonna go for a little bit of dazzling light. This will help keep our torch level high, even in the absence of torches, and get us a cheap stun too. So we already emboldening vapored once. Let's just go for the incision. This will not get a bleed, but it is gonna do 5 damage for us, and that's, you know, that's something. Little bit of bounty collection, I think, for Rick. Nope, Deckard with the whiff. Got nothing. He's going to get a bayonet in the eye, thanks to his lackluster performance. I think we'll just go ahead and patch that bayonet to the eye right up. And Brienne should be able to murder, let's say, nope. Interesting. Brienne finally met a man she didn't want to kill. That's okay, though, because Dr. Moreau finished him off. And that's dazzling light again. Probably won't get the stun. Oh, actually, surprisingly, we did. Alright, so that guy's never even going to get to do anything other than just stand and sort of watch his life slip away from him. 600 gold and a jade. That's good. We've already turned a profit. Literally was still within sight of the doorway, and we're making fat bank. I think we're going to get a free torch. I mean, one torch. Probably the best thing to do with that, actually, would be to save it in case we find, like, a stack of books or an alchemy table or something. We'll probably just not use it. I am glad we brought a key, though. But this surprise went the other way, and that is bad. We're going to be piling up some stress here. Or Brienne. I mean, she's completely immune to the stress of combat. Rick Deckard just piled on a bunch, though. Fortunately, it skipped Dr. Moreau, who's kind of our problem in the stress department. A bump in the night would not have gone awry there. Let's do emboldening vapors. We're going to buff up Deckard here. You know what? You should just move back, Chrysania. Bump in the night. Deckard, don't get pushed. Alright then. Deckard did not get pushed. I'm glad that he followed orders. Let's collect the bounty on, say, you. Alright, that's one man dead. 4 stress relief there, and we have nothing for Brienne. Brienne's just got to move forward. We got to get her into the fight. Attempting goblet for Chrysania. Chrysania knows a thing or two about temptation, am I right? Yeah, you fell for his golden skin and hourglass eyes. You're not fooling anybody, Chrysania. We know the truth. So let's emboldening vapor then our Hellion. And no one is bleeding yet, so we got that going for us. A massive critical from Deckard. And some extra stress relief for the remainder of the team. Although we're just going to get goblets of blood thrown in our eyes anyway, so... Not exactly sure how much that necessarily helps us. We could if it bleeds, which these guys don't, but it's still more than enough to kill him just from raw damage. And knife in the dark for Dr. Moreau, who takes a meager 2 damage and is not really that threatened, although he did miss in return. Maybe he was shaken a little bit. Nice job, Rick. Nice job, buddy. Glad we brought you. Looking solid. Excellent performance. Let's hope, Chrysania, you can save your bacon with the stun. Yep, there's the bacon is saved, so no additional stress for anyone. And we'll just go ahead and collect that bounty. Deckard, sorted. And the treasure thus far, I gotta say, has been pretty good. I mean, it's not fantastic, but we've already actually paid for the mission. Even if we bail out now, we've recouped our losses. So let's go ahead and use a key on this heirloom chest. Hidden compartment. More crests, more busts. Which is good. We actually used a bunch of those last time, so we get a little chance to replenish. We did scout, and it looks like we've chosen, you know, not necessarily maybe the best path, but not the worst either. We've got an urn here. Who wants to look in it? Brienne? Decorative urn. Look nice on a mantle. Nope. Or it could just give you a... Well, damn. I actually meant to stop and disarm that, but... Rick Deckard, going for his trap disarms the hard way, he just jumps onto the danger, and then, you know, when it doesn't go off, he's like, oh, I planned that. I knew that was exactly the right way to set it off. So I'm thinking we skip that room. I mean, it's guaranteed battle for no return at all. I think our best bet is to just maybe go around. Looting this backpack. What did we get? Another torch.
Is only the first test.
You know, we're gonna have to eat. That's fine. We've got plenty of food. I didn't scrimp on food. Also didn't scrimp on shovels, and I'm glad with that decision. I'm thinking that was a right move. Shouldn't be a battle in here. We know this because we have scouted it. Everything's clear, and we got scouting again. All right, so we're headed definitely this way. Then it's gonna be 2 battles to get us there. And a backpack, a little bit of loot. Some treasure. Could have used that a minute ago on that Hearn. Alright, no fighting yet, but let's... You know what? We're going to burn both of these torches. We found 2 on our travels. I think it's in our best interest to go ahead and just use them. So another goblet full of blood in the face of Dr. Moreau. That is unfortunate. Dr. Moreau is leading the league in stress right now. I'm going to have him throw a plague grenade at that bone courtier. Alright, so they're immune to bleed, rather, but they are actually still vulnerable to blight somewhat. Speaking of bleeding, let's go ahead and Divine Grace. Try and get Deckard patched back up since he is bleeding more than a little. We're going to mark for death this unit, and hopefully Deckard will be able to kill that in his next go. Man, they're really stacking up the bleeds here. So we've got 2 damage per round bleed on Deckard, and he also took a critical, which gave him some unfortunate stress. That's not good. Alright, well, at least they threw it at our least stressed unit. Although Brienne, apparently very disconcerted by a face full of blood. Deckard finally decides that resisting a bleed is the right move, rather than taking out his emo knife and doing a little surreptitious cutting from the back ranks of the battlefield. It's the only thing that makes him feel alive, folks. 11 damage and a bleed for Brienne. That is a fatal blow right there. That's lethal damage. Let's go ahead and patch old Deckard up. We can cure him, get rid of that bleed. And why don't you collect this man's bounty? Not quite. Deckard is, he's gonna go hungry. Seriously, the other bounty hunters are gonna make fun of you at the next guild meeting, Deckard. Just throwing that out there. You're gonna be the laughingstock of the event. So 6 damage per round. That is actually fatal damage on that unit as well. There's the bounty. Deckard will not have to come to the next board meeting empty-handed. That guy bled to death. And that leaves us Chrysania, who's going to go for a little group healing. And then we'll watch this guy just... No, I was going to say we'll just watch him die, but... Swing with the bone courtier and a whiff, and there he goes. Alright, so we picked up another torch, which, again, I am going to just immediately burn. So this run not going quite as torchless as I had anticipated. In we go. Alright, well, at least we didn't get surprised. That's the one thing we can say. We've got that going for us. We were not surprised. So this is definitively a battlefield medicine situation. Fantastically done. Dr. Moreau has failed to cure it. Oh, good God. So that was basically awful. Alright, we're going to need a stun here. Did you stun that acolyte? No. Everything is coming up enemy. And now we're due for a freak out. So, a test of resolve for Dr. Moreau. And he has become abusive, which is the worst possible thing he could have gotten, actually. All that does is give everyone else stress. Abusive is the worst thing you can pick up during a test of resolve. And I get it almost all the time. Like, every time I get one, it's abusive. Pretty much across the board. That is a fatal blow. Nope, he resisted to bleed. Not a fatal blow. We're not getting lucky. We are not getting what we need. So let's yop. We actually need a stun. We got to buy some time. The resisting of the stun was not good. And Chrysania failing to resist that pull was equally not good. Yes, thank you for saying nasty things. That was your whole turn, huh? Alright. So we're going to go for finish him on this unit because he is stunned. There is not an unreasonable chance for this to net a kill. And it did net a kill. Outstanding work, Deckard. Finally, somebody did something. A coral for Dr. Moreau, who's already a quarrelsome prick. Whatever it is you're doing back there, Dr. Moreau, I'm upset with you. Seriously, that ability, only thing it does useful is cure blight and bleed, and it never does that. So a stun and a pushback, and our cleric is now our mainline tank. That's delightful. We'll just go ahead and bump her back. Brienne's stunned, so she'll be contributing nothing. Deckard gonna get shot in the neck. Oh, wisely dodging. Deckard is gonna pick up some additional stress, however. Can't help but notice that guy is not dead. Just throwing that out there. You know what? Let's. Well, I was gonna say we could have you finish that or fix that, but we actually can't. Why don't you emboldening vapors and perhaps get something positive accomplished, Dr. Moreau? You're really letting the team down here. I mean, sure, your specialty is creating human hybrid sort of animal monster beasts that populate an island and inevitably revolt and overthrow mankind for all our hideous ways, but, I mean, you're not even doing that. You haven't even collected any good samples. This is just all desiccated corpses. Dr. Moreau failing in every single aspect of his mission, and Brienne is really taking a beating here. That's, frankly, Dr. Moreau, that's just fucking mean. That may be the meanest thing you've said to anyone. That's supremely discourteous, sir. This is why I hate abusive. You know why it's the worst one ever? One, because it gives all the rest of your team stress, which is awful. Two, it makes every goddamn turn take 100,000 fucking years. It's not only debilitating, it's also fucking irritating. I love how that says it heals 1 to 2, but it actually heals 0. And when I say I love that, I patently mean that I do not love it at all. We just can't hit the enemy. We can't hit anything. Somebody hit something! Our whole team is going to be completely maxed on stress by the end of this mission. Probably we would get enough stress just from abusive in order to accomplish that. I mean, we'll get there just from that. Party heal. The fact that no one can hit anything isn't doing us any favors either. Another axe blade for Brienne of Tarth. She should start a collection, given the rate which she's sort of piling them up. Rick Deckard actually finally finishing someone with a finish him. That's good. And how... well... Brienne is 1 point away from a test of faith. I'm sure she'll make it. Since, Pole Boy back here is probably going to say something mean. Rather than go for the heal, I actually would prefer to stun the enemy. Ah, thank Christ, Brienne delivered. Alright, and enough stress relief that maybe, just maybe, Dr. Moreau's next jibe can sort of go unacknowledged. We're actually going to eat food with Brienne. She's pretty badly hurt, and she's going to be freaking out. Hey, Dr. Moreau, you want to, check out a trap? I know specifically you can go look and see who has the best odds of taking a trap, but since the failure for some of those traps is getting hit for damage and stress, I actually felt that Dr. Moreau was sort of the best bet there, since he's already... I mean, he's already completely boned in the stress department. It can't get any worse for him. Scouting? No. Alright, so we just basically have to pick a direction and cross our fingers. We're going to go this way. Tome of Books. Hey, Dr. Moreau, that's you too, buddy. We got a positive effect. He's now a Warren's adventurer. Which is fantastic, because we spend a lot of time in the Warrens. Oh, no, wait, no. We never go to the Warrens ever. So it's almost completely useless. At least he didn't get fucking rabies. There's that. I mean, he didn't get rabies. And how is this not... Oh, we gotta go... Shit. Yeah. I forgot we skipped the room with the... Now we're gonna have to fight. Delightful. It's just spiders. That's acceptable. Dr. Moreau's going to do a big whole fat lot of nothing, because these guys will all be dead before his blight has a chance to even do enough damage to kill one. He's marked. Hardly matters. Collect the bounty. Nope. Rick, we need to go have a little talk, you and I, about your performance of late in the connecting with the enemy department. I honestly think we may need to hire a batting coach to sort of take you aside and work with you, and holy shit, that was a powerful blow. But we need to get a batting coach, I think, to work with you on your swing a little bit, Rick, because I think you may have the yips. The yips. He's got... Actually, the yips is a quirk in this game, which is... It's not debilitating, but it's certainly not good. But I think Deckard may legitimately have the actual yips. See? Right there. Even when he does connect, it doesn't do anything useful. Dr. Moreau's still stunned. And my brief resurgence in the love for the Plague Doctor category is quickly going back by the wayside. At least Brienne is still doing that thing. She hasn't freaked out yet either, which is somewhat remarkable. I would have expected her to have, well, gone off the rails by now, but not quite yet. Can't help but notice that the one guy who could heal Dr. Moreau is himself, and he's not doing it.
And now, the darkness holds dominion.
Yeah, you're a jerk, Dr. Moreau. You're just straight up jerk. I mean, you abused the animals, and that's why they kind of revolted and didn't like you. Yeah, it is a fantastic way to inflict death on someone. Why don't you climb right inside of it?
Wealth beyond measure. Awarded to the brave and the fool.
So no reason to not just do that. We need to get it out of our inventory anyway to make room for those two busts. I guess we'll starve.
Full of steel and war.
And here comes some freakouts. Brienne? Brienne is paranoid. You know,
Injury and despondence.
we're actually going to have Brienne eat that food. And, you know, Brienne is paranoid right now, but she is from Westeros, and honestly, I think paranoia is kind of the only healthy mental state to actually occupy if you're in a place, you know, if you're from such a horrible, horrible place. I mean, seriously, if you live in Westeros and you're not paranoid, you don't live in Westeros. You're just a gutted corpse somewhere on the floor of a tavern bleeding slowly into the pasteboard. It's just, I mean, either you're paranoid or you're dead. That's the way life works. At least in Westeros. On the plus side, we managed to get out of that mission. We didn't exactly... Wasn't quite the coup I had hoped, but we did make a fantastic amount of filthy lucre there. So we got plenty of cash, which is good. We should be able to outfit a team properly next time, rather than wandering around starving in the dark, which I seem to be doing more than I'm comfortable... Doing that more than I'm comfortable with lately. Let's see what kind of abilities we got. Now, Deckard got Warren's Explorer. It's actually pretty good. And Dr. Moreau has slow reflexes. Apparently the Marlon Brando creep has sort of descended on Dr. Moreau, and he's beginning to pack on the beef, which is kind of slowing down his reflexes. Marlon Monroe, or Marlon Brando, rather. Marlon Monroe. That's like if Marlon Brando and Marilyn Monroe had a kid. It would have been Mimi from Drew Carey. Anyway, too much makeup and kind of overweight. No, anyway. Marlon Brando, actually, one of the reasons why he let himself go is he really wasn't pleased with the fact that his performance in A Streetcar Named Desire kind of turned him into a sex symbol. Because he thought that Stanley was sort of a reprehensible character, and he's right. Stanley is kind of a reprehensible character. But he didn't like the fact that's what kind of launched him as being a sex symbol. Anyway, Doctor Strange has... Oh, he got rid of his lockjaw. Well, that's good. Lucy is returned from a drunken bender. Alright. I can't help but notice that her stress is a little higher than we would like. It must not have been the greatest bender ever. Chrysania made level 2. Deckard made level 2. And will we have our team, then? Our chosen team with No, because Doctor Strange still is not ranked 2. Or even close to it. Alright then, so it's a couple more missions before we can kind of take a crack at the Wizened Hag. Are we going to be able to put together a team for our next mission is the better question. Yes, because we have Candy Jade. We do have to get some stress relief, though, for Dr. Moreau and Brienne of Tarth. So before we sort of let things go, I think we'll take care of that. She will not pray or flagellate for stress relief. She can meditate. Dr. Moreau, what will you do? Actually, what you'll do, Dr. Moreau, is... I was thinking about sending him to the sanitarium to get rid of slow reflexes, but honestly, I'm not sure it's worth it. I'm not a huge fan of the Plague Doctor. Really, I'm not. We could probably get him some stress relief. Let's upgrade our Transept and our Penance Hall. Busts and crests, two of the things that we have plenty of, so we can go ahead. And that actually, we patched the hole in the roof with those upgrades, so that's good. Won't have to sit around the dripping anymore. Really, really irritating, especially when you're trying to sleep. Let's go to the tavern. And, well, we can't gamble with Brienne. You know what, Brienne? I think it's time that you shed the Maid of Tarth kind of moniker and become, well, just Brienne of Tarth. And Dr. Moreau, I can afford to let you drink. That's really as much money as I'm willing to dedicate to you for stress relief. So go grab a few rounds. And with the drinks on the house for Dr. Moreau, I think we'll go ahead and wrap things up. Of course, if you enjoyed the episode, feel free to drop a like down in the comments section. Your support does really mean a lot to us. And if you'd like to see more Darkest Dungeon 3 times a week, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, feel free to subscribe as well. And we'll see you again soon.